Howdy, 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 back at it again. Today's video is going to revisit a topic I've looked at previously, but I want to elaborate on, and that is why I do not believe throw loops are necessary in Street Fighter 6 for the balance of like perfect parry or anything like that. Before I get into the video though, I do want to say channel memberships are live. Perks include access to community Discord, access to match analysis videos that I'm going to produce in addition to my normal video schedule. And at the highest tier, a guarantee that I will review a set of your choosing or my choosing if you don't feel like choosing once a month. If that sounds intriguing to you, I would encourage you to look at the match analysis videos I have on the channel before you make any sort of financial decision. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So in order to talk about throw loops and why we don't need them, I want to look at 3 spots where they don't exist as sort of models for what Capcom can do to, in my opinion, fix the situation and make it more dynamic. Okay. So first situation I want to look at, first example, is Marisa command grab. Okay, so method number 1 that they could do is they can introduce a mix-up between the timing of your meaty. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, if I can hit on frame 1, 2, 3, or 4, I'm happy. Because that will beat wake up button. There, that hits frame 1, that hits frame 2, that hits frame 3, that hits frame 4, right? That will beat wake up buttons, all of those will. And that will also catch their pre-jump frames, okay? So if I did something slower, that would like reset them, or I would get counter hit, right? So that's the first thing. So perfect parry only has 2 active frames. So if they do it immediately, oh my goodness, that got perfect parried. And that got perfect parried. But you know what? I can do a different meaty. That doesn't get perfect parried. I can do a different meaty. That doesn't get perfect parried. So this is a situation where it's a little harder for them to perfect parry, even though I cannot get in range to throw them, okay? I can't dash up. I can't drive rush up. I can do like drive rush armor, but if they do a low here, right, I'll lose. Or if they wake up throw, I can't get in range and grab them, right, no matter what I spend. So it creates a situation where even though I can't get back into throw range, they still can't really perfect parry that easily because they don't know which options I'm going to pick, okay? And even if they do, if I do this like empty, then I can grab them no problem, right? Alternatively, even if I'm not drive rushing, I still have those same sort of options. So if I hit stand heavy kick immediately here, excuse me, I can't hit it immediately. If I wait like a frame and then hit it, I can hit on the one of the first 2 frames of wake up. Okay, if I walk up and hit towards heavy kick, I can hit on like frame 2 or later. Just walk up for a couple frames, hit towards heavy kick, I can hit on frame 3 or 4, like anywhere from like frame 2 to 4, right? So there, once again, I have a mix up in the timing. I can even hit on frame 5, which yes, I said I didn't like to hit on frame 5, but the spacing here works out so that if they hit like crouch light punch, we can trade. And then I can get a big ol' combo. But I have timing mix-ups even if I don't drive rush because I'm not plus enough to block a DP. Although you can do like crackhead hour stuff and do like drive rush into DI. Okay, so all I'm saying, this is a situation where the mix-up basically is, hey, what frame am I actually going to hit you on your wake-up? And can you guess that correctly? Which is more engaging for me on offense because I actually have to vary my approach. I can't just do, you know, and dash up and I'm +3 and am I going to throw or am I going to shimmy or am I going to meaty? And that's it. Here I have to go, okay, what am I going to meaty with? Because if I've done this, you know, if I've done like this too much, they might perfect parry that. But if I then mix it up by doing that, those hit at completely different timings, so you can't perfect parry them both, right? So that is one way that I think they could sort of model the situation. On to example number 2. Example number 2 I want to look at is Chun-Li She is plus 11 after this forward throw. And she can't walk up and get in throw range. If you do, like, if you press jab or something and she tries to walk up, she'll get counter hit. But she can meaty this no problem. So she can do towards medium punch. Oh my goodness, towards medium punch. She can do stand jab. She can do crouch medium kick. She can do sweep. She can do heavy punch, right? She can meaty whatever she wants, with pretty much whatever she wants to. What that means, though, is she is susceptible to perfect parry, right? Except, hold on, she has to do walk up into the button, right? So this is like 7-frame startup or 6-frame startup or 4-frame startup if she does jab. You can't react to this button, and you can't react and go, oh, she's going to go for a button, so I'll perfect parry. Because if you do, she just walk up and throw you, right? And the thing about this too is you're like, okay, well, I'll just see her walk and I'll do DP. You're like, well, one, she can walk back and bait that. And I wasn't paying attention. If she does do that, let me put this back to active. So she can pretty much always, if she's paying any sort of attention, bait this and then walk up and still throw parry. So if you like, if she just baits DP, then she can see parry and then she can grab you. So you're in a spot where even though she doesn't have a throw loop, she kind of does have a throw loop, especially since if you delay this by even 2 frames, she can walk up and grab you. So even though she doesn't really have a throw loop here, she sort of does have a throw loop because you can't react to her offense to know like, oh, this is how I defend against the throw, or this is how I defend against the strike. So that's something they could do. They just make the offense not really real. And then if they think that you're going to walk up, you know, if they think you're going to walk up throw, they can mash. So it just gives defenders like one more option where they're like, okay, you know what? I really don't believe they're going to meaty me here. I'm a wake up button. Where that doesn't exist on throw loops, right? Where it's like, oh, they did dash and now I just have to guess tack or jump or backdash, right? Or whatever, because those are the only things that'll beat throw. Well, now you can go, okay, this will also beat throw. So you can sort of, you know, again, it just gives you one more option on defense to choose from. So that's why this would be, even though not much of an improvement in my opinion, this would still be an improvement over the current situation. One more example to go. The last example I want to look at is E Honda's throw. So he's plus 17 in this corner, and he cannot walk up and grab you. His walk speed is way too slow. Here I have Ken delaying this jab by 4 frames, and I'm still losing. You can drive rush, grab that delay, but it's still kind of precise. So here, if I delay that by 4 frames, like you'll see, like I'm able to block the meaty, right? Ken's able to block the meaty and guard against the throw. So even though you would feel like, oh, well, perfect parry is a very good solution here. Well, yeah, it is. It is. You know, Ken could do a side switch combo here or whatever, or back throw, or, you know, any other thing that he wants to try. But when you have like delay mash is such a strong option, it sort of disincentivizes them going for perfect parry, right? And if Honda wants to generate any sort of amount of like reasonable plus frames here, he's going to have to drive rush, right? And then you're like back in the spot of like, okay, well, I can do, you know, drive rush into DI or something like that, depending on the timing at which you do it or whatever, right? So you can do like immediate drive rush DI and beat DPs and whatever. But of course, that opens Honda up to kind of the immense risk of getting counter DI'd or anything of that nature. So, you know, he can do this, but that can get DP'd. He can do this. You can try to do like walk up into stuff, but that gets dealt with by delayed mash. So this third example that I think Capcom could use as kind of a how do we fix throw loops is just like this, right? Give characters that don't need anything, any sort of strong corner oki like this. Make it so that you're just disincentivized, right? You're disincentivized to try to perfect parry it unless you're thinking you're going to be burnt out, right? Unless you're trying to perfect parry it because, ooh, if I block it he's going to cancel it into whatever, and I'm going to get burnt out, and it's not going to be nice, right? Or he's going to do this into, you know, that was supposed to be command grab, right, into that. And you're like, I don't want to deal with that, so I'm going to try to perfect parry the meaty or whatever. But creating situations where it's disincentivized, okay? So in review, I think 3 ways they could do it, right? 3 ways, and I don't think, you know, I think they should just kind of decide, hey, which characters get which way, and just kind of evenly distribute them, depending on how strong they want a character's throw corner game to be, whatever. Way number 1, make it so that the character has options to hit you on different frames of wake up, so you would have to vary your perfect parry timing. Way number 2, just give them some unreactable stuff where, hey, they can get into throw range, but it's going to lose to immediate jab. Even if it beats delayed jab, it's going to lose to immediate jab, so that you have one more option as the defender, right? You don't just have to go, you know, what do I do? I'm not sure. Make it so that there's an option that beats throw that doesn't, right, beat strike is kind of the idea. And then this third way, just make it so that, hey, it's Honda's turn, but what's his reward? His reward is doing drive gauge damage, and you're disincentivized because you're like, I can just hold down back, and he will never throw me. Because if I see him walk up, I can just hit crouch jab, and it'll be fine, right? If I see him start to hold forward, I'll hit crouch jab, and unless he wants to delay his meaty, right, which again means that that would lose to like wake up immediate button. So that's the idea, right? We can disincentivize perfect parry. We can make it a GIS regardless, or we can go, hey, what's the timing mix up on it? All 3 of those, I think, would be better situations than what we have now. I don't think it's going to happen. I think Capcom likes the way it is right now. That seems to be reading between the lines of kind of the patch notes and things like that. But this is why I do not believe that they are necessary to balance Street Fighter 6. Hopefully this is helpful. As always, have a good time.